It's 12 past 3.
So, Madelyn, last week you were talking about Elizabeth Bathory.
Yes.
And you had mentioned, I was editing the episode and I realized that you had mentioned she had kids. And we really didn't talk about that too much. I don't know if there was any real story behind them, but it was just crazy to me that this lady was full-on serial killer and she had kids. It was just crazy.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I honestly didn't really put that together. And I didn't really look into much detail about her kids or what happened to them. For all we know, they could have been part of her torture crew.
Yeah, I imagine that we would have heard about that if that was the case. But it would be interesting to see what happened to them. But maybe if, they didn't become serial killers, there was no stories to tell.
Yeah,
so
you're kind of just in the background.
So last week you had the ultimate or original recorded serial killer. And what do you have for us tonight?
So I kind of have a very dark love story, but not love story. One-sided love story. Before getting to this story, I do want to give a warning that it does involve necrophilia, but I do not go into much detail about it. It's just a quick...
Good to know. Good to know. Anybody who doesn't want to listen. I think I'll hang around, though, and see what happens.
I would hope so. Otherwise, I'd be all alone. So we all hear crazy stories of crazy crimes in Florida, like Florida man does this. Well, apparently Florida had its fair share of craziness in the 1930s. Not
that there's anything wrong with that. We may have listeners in Florida. We do not want to upset them.
There's nothing wrong. It's just, it's a thing that goes around. I'm not like judging or anything.
Okay.
Again, we don't have to keep that in. I just want to say... I'm going to be talking about the crimes of Karl Tanzler, who was born in Germany in 1877. He had many aliases on many of his German and United States documents. I have a list of his aliases, but they're different variations with weird pronunciations that I would not be able to pronounce. He reportedly studied weather patterns in Austria in 1910 and stayed until the end of World War I. When he returned back home, Tanzler married and had 2 children in 1920. They had moved to Zephyrhills, Florida, where he had left his wife and children in 1926. In 1930, he began working at the Marine Hospital in Key West, Florida, as a radiology technologist. He had often kept to himself until he met Elena de Hoyos. She was a beautiful Cuban-American woman with dark hair, and she was described as Tanzler's dream girl. He actually claimed to have seen the girl in his dreams. The problem was that Elena was diagnosed with tuberculosis and dying. He disregarded all hospital protocol and did everything he could to try to save her. Tanzler felt he could cure her, and with her parents' permission, he set up an X-ray machine in the home to monitor her progress. He expressed his undying love to Elena, and although it was unclear how she felt about him, she definitely did not reciprocate his feelings. She was dying, so I don't know what he expected from her.
I just have a bad feeling this is going in a bad direction.
Oh, I am not even... This is just backstory.
Okay.
In 1931, at 21 years old, Elena had died. Tanzler had paid for her funeral and tomb. He had an above-ground stone mausoleum built just for her that only he had a key to. He visited her resting place every night for 2 years. Tanzler would sing to her and talked to her. He even said that her spirit came to him and asked him to take her away from the grave, so he did. In 1933, he pulled Elena's corpse from the grave and rolled it to his house on a toy wagon.
Oh my god, that's just so messed up.
How did he not get caught though?
I know. Okay.
Like, aren't toy wagons like noisy and just like casually walking to? I don't know.
That's just such a bizarre image. Okay.
He casually began living, dancing, and caring for Elena's corpse. He did a lot to preserve her body from using coat hangers and wire to keep her skeleton intact. Why are you making faces?
I guess my faces don't go over too well on audio, but oh my god, I'm just having a hard time with this story. This is just so bizarre.
Yeah, it gets even more bizarre. Then using silk towels and wax to repair the skin as it deteriorated and glass eyes for her eye sockets. For her hair, he used a wig made of Elena's hair that her mother made and gave to him.
This is not funny, but it's so bizarre. How does somebody mentally do this?
He was in love. She was his dream girl. He would buy her gifts as if they were in a normal relationship. At one point, he considered... At one point, he considered launching her body to space so that the radiation in the stratosphere could help restore her body.
So he was just completely off his rocker. I mean, if he was already off there, he was just completely off. This was, again, going back to 1933?
Yeah.
And he was thinking about launching things into space?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty forward thinking.
Yeah. He had potential in that area. He had like an airship ready for her.
What?
He had an airship ready for her.
Where did he get an airship? He built an airship?
That information, I don't know.
Okay. And how was he going to launch this into space?
Well, he never did, because I'm assuming he never figured out how to do that.
Okay, so he just didn't figure out.
Yeah.
He built a spaceship, but he didn't know how to get it off the ground.
Yeah. He instead ended up dousing her corpse in disinfectant, preservatives, and perfumes for 7 years.
What does a corpse look like after 7 years?
Oh, I should send you the picture. There is a picture of her.
Oh, no thanks.
She does not look like a human. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. In 1940, one of Elena's sisters heard rumors of Tanzler sleeping with the corpse of her sister and dancing with it in front of a window.
She heard rumors about this?
Yes.
And did she confront him?
Yes, she had confronted him in his home where Elena's corpse was later found by authorities. So she confronted and then called authorities and they found.
And did he then fall in love with her?
No, I think he was too obsessed with Elena. Maybe they didn't look alike.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
Tanzler was arrested while Elena's corpse was placed on public display at a local funeral home where over 6,000 people viewed it.
Why was it put on public display?
Probably because of how crazy it looked.
Why, though? I mean...
I don't even...
Okay.
It was bizarre to me, too. But it was like a huge thing that went on where they were at, so... Her corpse was shortly returned to an unmarked grave. Carl Tanzler faced no criminal charges for grave robbing since the statute of limitations had already passed.
What's the statute of limitations on grave robbing?
I have no idea. I thought it was...
Just for future reference.
Isn't it like 5 years?
I have no idea.
No, I mean, isn't like the statute of limitations usually like 5 years?
Well, it depends on what the offense is.
But... well, then I don't know. I didn't look that up. Especially, I don't know what it was in 1940. This is a bit graphic, but an autopsy found a paper tube inside Elena, confirming rumors of necrophilia.
Okay.
That evidence didn't surface until years later, which meant Tanzler didn't face any repercussions for that.
What? He already stole the corpse.
Yeah.
And he was past the statute of limitations. So if they would have figured out he had done something to the corpse, then they would have charged him?
I have no idea. This is probably like the first case of this that they've had. They probably had no idea what to do. But he did not face any charges, which I think is crazy.
Yeah.
Some locals actually took pity on Tanzler. Women even thought it was romantic.
Who thought it was romantic?
Women. Like local women thought that it was romantic. Some of them. I personally would not think it's romantic. I think it's gross.
No, it's sad. She was 21, right? She died. And then he does all this stuff to her body.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's gone by then. But, I mean, my God, she died at 21. And then they think it's romantic that he stole her body and violated her?
Yeah. I'm assuming it's because of the undying love he had. But still, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know. It's just messed up.
Yeah, that's just messed up. Okay.
In 1944, at the end of everything, Carl Tanzler moved to Pasco County, Florida. He didn't live far from his wife, who had later supported him.
Wait, what?
He didn't live far. In 1944, when he had moved to Pasco County, he didn't live far from his wife, who had later supported him. So he was, like, still married. But they weren't living together.
Why would she support him? Anyway, I guess, okay, it's just bizarre.
In Pasco County, Tanzler made a replica of Elena's body out of a death mask and a life-size model. I don't know if you know what a death mask is.
Yeah, you know, when we get in my story, I'm talking about, I don't want no spoilers here, but I'm talking about Queen Elizabeth I.
Yeah.
And they had a picture of her death mask. And I was like, oh, how bizarre. We have to have an episode about death masks. It's just such a bizarre. So, okay, so go on.
After the trial, he had the nerve to ask for her body back. Obviously, his request was denied.
So she was in at the evidence locker.
No, I think she was in an unmarked grave. No.
Well, no, I was just saying he after the trial, he gets his evidence back. So here's your wallet, here's your keys, here's your corpse. Sorry.
Yeah. I just think it's crazy. Like, in what world? You just had a trial over this. What world do you think that you're going to get the body back?
Well, obviously in his world, he did this to a corpse. He was going to rocket it off into space. Why would he not think he would get it back?
That's true.
But in the same sense, if he could do all this as far as rocketing into space, why didn't he just make his own with her death mask? Go to a store and steal a mannequin.
Sir, that's not for sale, sir.
Wheeling it down the street in his toy wagon.
Oh, no. Rumors are that he managed to switch the replica of Elena's body with her body, so he could be near her for the rest of his life, in which he then eventually died in 1952.
That's just some kind of messed up, that he's so attached to that body. I just wonder what the psychology is behind that. How somebody could be just that far off their rocker.
Yeah, it's just like, there are other people out there. I mean, it's just sad because it's like, wouldn't you want someone living that can like actually speak to you?
Well, that's what I don't understand is what was his obsession with her, even to the point where he was obsessed with this rotting corpse. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think there's really any way to be able to understand the psychology behind. I know he did get an evaluation to see if he was like fit for trial, and they said he was fit for trial.
I don't think there's much of an evaluation there. I don't know how in any world he could be fit for trial.
I mean, it was in the 1940s by that point. So now I don't think it would pass.
Just in any time. I mean, what he was doing and what they found, it's off to the loony bin. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And that would have been better than taking him to trial because obviously nothing happened to him, right?
Yeah.
So they should have put him away.
And I'm confused why people supported him and took pity on him.
As we know, there are just all kinds out there.
But it didn't seem like it was only like one or two people. It seemed like quite a few people. in that area took pity. And it's like, why not the family? The family had to have been devastated and horrified.
Yeah, I don't know. That's bizarre. So, is that all the... I don't even know what to call it. All the details you have of that story?
Yeah, surprisingly, there wasn't more.
I think that was more than enough.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know any more details.
Alrighty. So, shall I get into my story?
Yes, what do you have?
Alright, so have you ever run into the situation when you're doing some research and you read something that takes you off onto another topic and you start digging into that a little bit and then you go off into another topic and then before you know it you're like 6 topics away from where you originally started?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was at I was researching my story and I don't know what happened, but I ended up on this article about the Bloody Mary folklore. You know, the slumber party mirror game.
Yeah. Well,
you familiar with that?
When I was a kid, it was more of don't do it in the school bathrooms.
I'm going to hate myself for asking, but don't do what in the school bathrooms?
The Bloody Mary.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I thought we were going off on different.
No, don't do Bloody Mary.
So that was the whole thing about So it was a dare to do it in there, or everybody was just don't do this, don't do this.
Well, only the brave ones did. I was not. Well, I thought it was kind of silly, but I also had a little bit of a fear to do Bloody Mary.
Yeah, don't we all? So I was reading, I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and I'll read this article. I'll get back, because I was like, well, there's really not much to it. It's urban legend, folklore, whatever, kids party game, slumber parties. Well, not a party, you know what I mean? Slumber party. So for you, it was in school. For us, it was slumber parties, doing the Bloody Mary thing.
There were a lot of games like that, like for slumber parties, not to get off topic.
A lot of those type of games where you're going to chant somebody's name and...
Well, I know there was one called a shark bite, and then the Sandman one.
Okay, we'll have to have to discuss those at some point because I never heard of them. Sharkman, you said?
Shark bite and Sandman. And there was a similar one in that you did kind of like Bloody Mary, but it was a different name that you chanted in the bathroom.
Yeah, well, she went by a lot of different names, but anyway, so I was reading it. I was thinking, oh well, there's really not much to this as far as even thinking about a future story, unless we were going to do something about these, type of folklore, urban legend type of things, which would be interesting. But I'm like, I'll just read this article and then get back to what I was originally researching. But then in the article, I read something that I said, oh, Madelyn, this would be an interesting thing to bring up for you. So I thought, okay, well, I'll bring it up in the episode. I'll just mention it because it's just a point of interest, and I'll get to that in a minute. But then, I'll just get onto my other story, right? So I'm reading a little further, and it's getting more interesting and more interesting. So here I am talking about Bloody Mary, which was totally not my intent. So just to recap, I mean, for you, obviously it was a little different, but for us, it was, Bloody Mary is a ritual. Most commonly, this started off in the 70s. I think this is when it really took off, was in the 70s during slumber parties, and most commonly was in front of the bathroom mirror. And that's the thing I don't understand about, like, with the bathrooms at the school, because it was supposed to be done in a darkened room in front of a mirror.
I think you were able to turn the lights off.
Oh, okay. All right. And then you say Bloody Mary multiple times, depending on what version of the story you heard. It would be, different numbers of times, and it would summon her spirit.
Yeah.
All right. So, and I think, like you just mentioned, was besides Bloody Mary, she went by, probably I saw at least a half dozen names. I remember I've heard of Mary Worth before, and Hail Mary. But I know I saw at least a half dozen other ones. As you can imagine, these word of mouth stories have, so many different variations, especially back in the 70s, where it was literally word of mouth, getting around the country and everything. So there's different variations of, like what you did when you chanted, what what happened when you summoned her. Some of them where you would turn around and chant her name. I read one where they would chant her Bloody Mary, and keep getting louder and louder until they were screaming until she would appear. I imagine that one would require the parents not to be home at the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, how would you do that with, like, at a slumber party?
Yeah, the one that I remember was, I've heard variations of chanting Bloody Mary 13, 7, or 3 times. For us, it was 3 times.
I've only heard 3 times. I didn't know there was other number variations.
Yeah, well, I think that's the whole instant gratification thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it 3 times and get on with it.
Yeah.
Can't wait, 13 times takes too long. Damn it, let's get on with this and get our eyes gouged out. Because that's at least what I heard was that she was supposed to peer and then start scratching at your face to gouge your eyes out. That was the whole story, right? And, what kid doesn't want to be a part of that?
Yeah, that sounds so fun.
Who wouldn't want to do this ritual?
That's so crazy. I've only heard,
so what was supposed to happen when you went into the bathroom? And
she was just supposed to appear. I don't really remember.
Oh, your generation is so so lame.
Well,
she's supposed to appear and you talk to her.
Why are you so bloody? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just, I wasn't really into much of those games, so maybe that's why I didn't hear about that. I don't know if there was like other stories, but I only knew of her appearing. Maybe it was her appearing and then you shit yourself and run out of the bathroom.
Good thing you're in the bathroom, then you're going to shit yourself. All right. So supposedly, that's, kind of what you're supposed to do. But supposedly the Bloody Mary legend has its roots in an old European folklore of a divination ritual, which is, and obviously this folklore also has variations, but one of them was that a young woman could stare in a mirror, again in the dark, and she would catch a glimpse of her future husband. Or she might catch a glimpse of a skull or the Grim Reaper, in which case that would indicate that she is going to die before she gets a chance to marry, or die a spinster. An interesting side note is that up until the early 1900s, there were actually Halloween greeting cards depicting this ritual. I'm not sure what the fascination was. There was a lot of discussion on that, but it was kind of interesting. So the first thing that caught my attention about this story, the one that I thought you'd be interested in, was they were talking about, who was Bloody Mary? Was Bloody Mary an actual person, or was it just some made up person, folklore, or whatever? So I found 4 contenders for possibly being Bloody Mary. The most likely was, and I mentioned earlier, was Mary Tudor, Queen Mary I. So she ruled between 1553 and her death in 1558. Unlike her father, Henry VIII, you might have heard of him, Henry VIII was loyal to Protestantism, but unlike him, Queen Mary was a devout Catholic, and psychotically so.
Oh, no.
She had burned at least 280 people at the stake. These were people who were resistant to her efforts to bring Catholicism back to England. That earned her the name of Bloody Mary. Thus, why she's most likely the best contender for, who this Bloody Mary was in this ritual.
Why was it?
What's that?
Why was it Bloody Mary and not like Burn Mary?
Burn Mary Burn. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's another contender was Mary, Queen of Scots. Although, from what I read personally, I don't see the argument for it, so I won't go into a lot of detail about her. But she lived about the same time as Mary Tudor, and the two, from what I understand, had a pretty contentious relationship between their kingdoms. And I believe they were related in some way, but really, who wasn't back then?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Next up was Mary Worth. So you heard, some of the variations used Mary Worth, and she was allegedly a convicted witch during the Salem witch trials. Although there were many Marys in the official list of accused witches, there was no Mary Worth as far as anybody could tell. So it's possible that she was in the category of Bloody Mary not being based on a real person, and somewhere along the line somebody made up this story.
Yeah.
Because I also did hear variations of Bloody Mary being this vain young girl who was disfigured, and then she went mad when she looked at herself in the mirror, and all this. So
that's sad.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point, right? With these urban legends, and it also, like with Mary Worth or with this story of this young girl, it makes it impossible to trace back. So you have to just assume that it's a made up story at some point. The final contender, although her name makes no sense for quote unquote Bloody Mary, her reputation certainly gives her credibility. AKA the Queen of Blood, AKA Blood Countess herself, Mrs. Elizabeth Bathory.
No way.
Yeah. I was like, where have I heard that name before?
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, I don't get the whole Elizabeth Bathory being Bloody Mary.
Well, could Mary, this might be dumb, but could Mary be like a nickname?
I did look up that just to see, but I couldn't find anything. I really don't think. My suspicion is that people just had a hard time saying Bloody Elizabeth. Bloody Elizabeth. It's too much of a tongue twister, so somebody along the lines just like, screw it, let's just call her Mary.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but I thought she was interesting. What?
Just laughing at Bloody Elizabeth.
The next thing that caught my interest and really turned this into a story, that's something I learned I knew nothing about. I never really thought about it but there's actually a phenomenon. What, are you laughing at the fact that I actually pronounced phenomenon?
No. The way you said Bloody Elizabeth.
Oh, now you're making fun of my speech impediment. Great.
It's just funny. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm probably slap happy.
Yeah. It is late. It is 3:12, y'all.
Sorry.
Okay, so there's this phenomenon. Wow. Okay. Don't make me say that word again, because I said it right 3 times in a row. Where if you stare in a mirror in a dimly lit room, after a while, you can, it's not guaranteed, but you can start to hallucinate a bit. Hallucinate is kind of a strong word, but you can start to see things.
Well, if you just, in a dimly lit room, not completely dark.
Yeah, so so the whole ritual is, you're supposed to be in, well, they say darkened bathroom with a candle, right? That was the whole thing. But yeah, so a dimly lit room with a mirror, could be a bathroom or whatever, but very dim light, so you can see yourself, but it's not pitch dark. That if you just stand there and stare in the mirror, after a time, a lot of people will start to hallucinate, and I'll explain why. But that kind of makes sense of why this ritual kind of took off, because you get somebody in that position, they're scared because of what might happen. Well, for us, we're going to get our eyes gouged out. For you guys, you're going to
just have a nice
visit. Have a nice conversation.
And that's scary for our generation.
Yes. You have to talk to somebody face to face. Oh my God. So that's based on the phenomenon. Gonna say it again. Termed the Trexler effect, which has to do with visual perception and optical illusions.
Sorry.
Are you back on the Bloody Elizabeth?
I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
What are you laughing about this time?
I don't know.
You are slap happy.
Okay.
You know those pictures that you can stare at, that, and then it'll start moving, or the dots will start moving around and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of concept.
So just like an optical illusion?
Yeah, it's kind of, that's why I say hallucination is kind of an extreme word, because it is more like an optical illusion. My understanding is that it has to do with your brain's need to make sense of the visual input.
Yeah.
And it's trying to determine what's relevant and what's not relevant. It's trying to determine what's relevant and not relevant. Because your brain is always filtering input to avoid overload, right? So it's, you're visually taking in all this information all the time, and your brain has to filter some of that out because it's just too much. So in this situation, for whatever reason, in the dimly lit room, probably because of the optical illusion effect, I'm not a scientist, so I'm just, my guess here, is that your brain is getting confused, and then it's trying to fill in details because it needs to have things make sense.
Yeah.
So when something doesn't look right, it tries to fill in the details. And those details can be whatever the brain, figures will make sense, right? So I wanted to ask you to try this out for this episode, but I didn't want to kind of give away what I was talking about. So I thought, well, maybe if you are willing to try this, we can come back in another episode and talk about your experiences.
Sitting in front of a mirror or the Bloody Mary?
Well, I mean, if you're too lazy to stand, yes, sit in front. No, not the Bloody Mary.
Too lazy to stand. I don't know. I'm just
kidding. Yeah, and so, with the whole Bloody Mary thing, so obviously the creepiness is taking over. And then with this optical illusion thing, I can see where people are just like, I saw something, right?
So are you supposed to just stare at yourself? Like at your...
Hopefully there's nobody else there.
Well, I didn't know if you were supposed to look around or No,
you're supposed to just stare at yourself. And so I tried this.
You did?
Yes, a few times. So let me tell you what I experienced.
Oh no.
So first, the first night, I did it a couple times. It was for a few minutes. One of my problems was just ADD, right?
Yeah.
Just standing there. And no lie, it was really kind of creepy. Just standing in a dimly lit room, staring at yourself in the mirror. Kind of creepy.
I'm surprised. Especially if anyone walked in. What are you doing?
Well, especially it's dark, It's kind of dimly lit. I was waiting for somebody to come up behind me and just scare the crap out of me. That was my biggest concern. I was like, oh my God, somebody's going to walk in and I'm going to see this face floating up behind me in the mirror.
Oh, that would have been funny.
I think positioning of the light is important as far as, where... So I had a night light in there, and I tried it in a couple different positions as far as how it was casting light on my face, because I figured that would have a difference in the illusions that you would see. I did want to try it with a candle, but I didn't want, to raise questions about what are you doing? So the first thing I noticed was, and this might have been the creep factor, is I started to kind of feel detached from the image in the mirror. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but it was kind of like I was expecting it to be moving on its own, like it wasn't me or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
It was me, but it wasn't me. It's really hard to explain, but again, I think that was kind of the creepiness factor on that. At one point, though, my face started to blur out in the mirror, kind of morphing into, those shows where somebody, like when we're watching horror movies where somebody's, doesn't have a mouth, or their eyes are gone, and it's just skin or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my face was kind of looking like at one time, but it was blurry, and I think it was kind of your eyes going out of focus.
Yeah.
Right, type of thing. But the last thing I saw on that first try was that I swear I saw my mirror image blinking, although I swear I was not blinking. And I don't even think, excuse me, squeak there, puberty. I don't even think I could see myself blinking because my eyes would be closed, right? If I was blinking,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't see. But I waited for a couple times to see this, and that's when I stopped. This is freaking me out.
Yeah.
But I swear that I saw the mirror image blink a couple times, and I'm like, oh my God. So there's no way in hell I'm going to say Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. I didn't even want to think it, right? It's like, don't think Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Yeah, but when you say don't think it, your brain's going to think it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I had to stop. So the second night was freakier. Although I wasn't as creeped out as far as, it was more of a scientific experiment at that point. I wasn't like, this is really creepy, and, it was just
you knew what you were going to...
I knew. It was still I was still waiting for somebody to come up behind me because, the room behind me is all dark and there's different doors and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just waiting for somebody to come up and scare the crap out of me. But, so the first thing I saw, and it happened pretty quick, was that the one side of my face, the side that was more in shadow, started to look like deformed, swollen. Best I could describe it was kind of like an ogre type face. Like, so I had this normal face and then this ogre face, right? And then just my features were kind of shifting into, I swore I kind of saw like a skull type of thing, but kind of like overlapping my face, or, kind of double image. But that might have just been, again, my imagination thinking about what other people had mentioned experiencing and stuff.
Yeah.
Over time, that whole morphing of the face kind of took over on the whole face. But the interesting I noticed is when I would try to focus on anything in particular, that the illusion would kind of go away.
Yeah.
So I really think it was a matter of, in the dimly lit room, your eyes are, for whatever reason, because they're trying to make sense of things, that they're going kind of out of focus. And it was actually kind of annoying that, I was trying to get a good look at what was going on, but every time I tried to focus, I would lose it. And then I would have to wait for it to come back. So it is pretty interesting. So
do you look straight in your eyes, or what did you focus on?
I just stared at me, right?
Yeah.
Just so I wasn't like looking around at the room and stuff. But I think it's really, you need to be focusing right on yourself. I mean, it's interesting. It would be interesting to look around, but I didn't want to see freaky things going on in the room behind me either. So
yeah.
But so that's my story. I certainly hope that, speaking of Bloody Mary, I certainly hope that no one has ever been successful in summoning Bloody Mary. But I imagine there's a lot of stories out there about people who have done that, either in school and had a good conversation with Mary, or done this, as a kid during sleepovers. I don't know about you. I would love to hear some of those stories.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully fun and interesting stories, not, anything tragic,
Yeah.
Or if anybody has done or does the staring in the mirror, would love to hear about those experiences too.
Okay.
Now, what's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I won't suggest anyone try staring in the mirror. Disclaimer, do not try this at home. I don't want to get sued if somebody freaks out staring in the mirror and gouges their own eyes out.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to get sued for that. But if you do, remember, you still have your ears, so please continue to listen to our podcast.
Oh my gosh.
And that's all I have.
I have to try that, but I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, it is creepy. I'll give you that. But once you get past that creep factor, now I say that, but I tell you, I would not say the Bloody Mary thing. No. But once you get past the creep factor of it's just weird. Just weird standing there in a dimly lit room. I would really love to try it with a candle to see how the flickering of light affects the illusion. But yeah, maybe if you can try it out, we can, next episode or one of these episodes, whenever you get the courage to try it out, we can talk about what happened.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
So yeah, that was it. That was the story. Like I said, would love to hear anybody's experiences, although you did not hear it from us to try them. It's getting late, so we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening,
Make sure to visit next week for more weird and creepy stories. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 12past3 or email us at podcast@12past3.com.
And good night.
Good night.